Okay, we're live. And I'm trying to fix things while we're doing that. Perfect. Good morning, everyone. We are on Brew Along number 28, I believe, and it is with Sierra Bailey, one of my favorite people, even though we've only met like twice, maybe, but like you see her, you meet her, and you're like, whoa, hold on, this energy is what I want more of in my life. Sierra she runs she's going to do a much better job of explaining this. She runs tiny workshops for tiny businesses, and like her whole dance these days is like helping small businesses gain the skills that they need in order to do better in business in this modern age. So things like, I'm probably going to end up taking her Calendly class soon because I sent her a Calendly link, and who knows how well that went down. But yes, things like that. Calendly. Actually, you know what, Sierra? I'm going to pass this over to you so you can do a better job of explaining this. Hi, Sierra.
Good morning. I will say I like to credit coffee for a lot of that energy that you were talking about. Big fan, and big fan of you and everything you have been doing. So as Wilson said, I help talented tiny business owners. I do a series, as he was saying, of tiny workshops, and a lot of what we focus on are the technical skills to give you a leg up in the virtual world. I also went on and work with people otherwise, but the tiny workshops are so great because sometimes you just wish you knew how to run an effective Facebook group, or it's over time, or those little highlight bubbles on Instagram. And I love making people feel comfortable with all of that technology.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that much more masterful
Is that good?
Introduction.
Oh.
I mean, you can go as far as you want. Like I'm game to hear all of it. But let's start with.
I'll keep talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it.
So I will also say one more thing that I want to add, because Wilson's a big part of this, is that there is a Facebook group, Doers, Shakers, Makers. It's free, and it is just a place for people that love to work, to learn new things, and to connect with other people. It's not all tiny business owners in there. There are people that are coming from sales. There are retired people. But I just love being able to offer support and community to everyone. I'm a big fan of community, and I have worked very hard to nurture the Facebook group that we're all in together.
And one of my favorite parts about the Facebook group is the accountability aspect. Like that's my biggest pitfall. And you know, I think over the past year that I've been in the group, I've maybe kind of jumped on that accountability train with you and your group for maybe a month at a time here, a month at a time there. And it's been really helpful, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much for doing that and allowing me to, like, you poke me every week when I participate. You poke me and you're like, hey, but then you also don't pressure me when I don't do it. So that's awesome.
And important robots. Yeah, we're not robots. We're not always on top of our A game. The point is just keep showing up, and when you can, plug in.
Perfect. So I want to talk to you about I want to hear your coffee story. I want to hear your coffee journey. Like, the first question we'll start with is, do you remember your first ever cup of coffee?
Oh, well, my parents are both coffee drinkers, grandparents coffee drinkers, so probably my first coffee was at somebody's kitchen table in the family having their coffee. But my mom, for most of my young life, purchased her coffee every single morning. She would like run down to like corner deli and come back with two very large styrofoam cups of coffee, like 24 ounces. And I really thought that was ridiculous because I'm like, why are you not brewing your own coffee? This isn't even good coffee. Then I went away to school. I went to boarding school and then college. And so boarding school, I was 12 and I was regularly drinking coffee. And I was very focused in the fine arts, spent many, many hours every day in the painting studio where there was always a coffee maker. That's where I learned to drink black coffee because you can't keep cream where there's no refrigerator. So I used to drink coffee with sugar. It was so delicious, but I can't do that anymore. And all through college was obsessed. And I think it was shortly after I started my first business that I really started to enjoy the ritual of making it in the morning. And I really started enjoying that as a way, as sort of my, even though we didn't use that word then, my morning routine. And then I got my first French press. Oh, and then it became a just delightful morning routine. So I lay out everything in the morning. I grind my beans, which I range. I either pick up something from Trader Joe's or, I do subscribe to the Tespresso, of course, and Wilson tells me what I should be drinking half the month. And I then make one large French press and I put that in a carafe so it stays warm. And then I make a second large French press and I also put that aside. And then I am basically drinking coffee as I am right now until about late morning every day, very happily, just black. And I enjoy every minute of it.
You absolutely should be a barista. With the amount of coffee that you drink, you'd make the perfect barista.
No, because you know what? I have run, Wilson, I've run restaurants in the past. You know what happens? I drink about 4 gallons of coffee in a day, and everybody's like, you need to calm down.
So this is your, what did you say, 6 cups a day?
Yes.
Okay, so 6 cups a day is like toning it down for you, right?
Yes. I was having some stomach issues. Yeah, no, I was having some stomach issues, and I went to like a specialist for it, and I said, "Are you going to give up coffee?" And she said, "Have you tried?" And I said, I did go down to 1 cup, which was interesting because I had no withdrawal. I don't know how I went from 6 to 1. I think my body was probably like, we get a little bit of a break. But she said, if you've tried and there's no difference, you are free to drink as much as you want. Just don't go back to 8 cups. So if I hover around 6, I feel like that's healthy. That's probably not, but I love it. So there you go. It's my only vice. And not a vice. I mean, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Like, I get it's a vice. Like, that's fine. Like, I have just leaned into it. I've just been like, you know what, this vice is going to consume my life, both professional and personal and everything. That's fine.
My weekly live video in the Facebook group is called Coffee with Sierra. So I wear a t-shirt that has the caffeine molecule on it. I'm very into the coffee world.
How many people aside from me have noticed that?
That I'm very into coffee, or that it's coffee with Sierra?
Your caffeine molecule.
So when I go into certain places, I wear either a pithy shirt about caffeine or about books, because that's my other love in life, and they go so well together. And so certain places that I go, like when I'm in Trader Joe's, the checkout people love my shirts, always. They get them, they chuckle, they think they're fantastic. HEB, not so much. But it is definitely, when they get it, a huge smile breaks out on their face. And, they're just as delighted as I am, the fact that I'm wearing a caffeine shirt. And then I usually I yell about loving coffee, so that just really nails it home for everyone.
The second somebody gets it, you just like scream out, like, I love coffee!
Well, especially with masks these days, because, they can't really tell they can't see my expressive smile, so I've gotten louder. That's my answer.
Understood. So, tell me more about your ritual. Like, so you grind it all in the morning. You have your French press. You press out at least 2 into a carafe. This is the first thing that you do in the morning? This is how you start your morning routine?
So I'm very kind, and I do let my dogs go out first. And then before I feed them, I do make coffee. So they're allowed out, but they don't get to eat until I've had the coffee made. I will also say that if my husband decides that he needs to have 1 cup out of, the carafe, then I'm like, I should just make a whole nother French press to make up for that. So
I totally know that feeling. Yes.
And I do. Have you ever seen the little teeny mini French presses? They're almost comical. They're like 6 inches high. Yes. I have one of those. I don't like it. It's just sad. I make tea in it now. If you're not making the big one, why bother?
Have you explored other like large batch brewing systems, or are you just like French press is where it's at? This is my jam.
So my mother-in-law has at her house, my father-in-law had been a big fan of the small scaled, so probably like a 1.5 by 1.5 espresso machine. And water coming through the house, like having it really like plugged in and all that. And when I visit that house, I walk by and just hit that double cup button about 15 times a day. And she's like, would you like me to get you one of these? And I was like, no, thank you so much. But I will be hitting that button every time I walk by. So the French press does make me kind of have to like take a breath. And it takes, I know, like 10 minutes to make. So it does keep it that I'm not drinking 12 cups of coffee a day. If I use something that we're
about your routine, right?
Yes. So my mom is a big fan of the small Italian metal thing that goes on the stove.
Mocha pots?
I don't know what that's called. Do you have one of those there?
Mocha pots?
Probably. So she's into that, and I felt that when she makes the coffee, it was just too strong for me. I don't know if it was the pot or just how much coffee she uses. I am not into very strong coffee. So I know a lot of methods will go more that way. I got into brewing my own cold brew for a while. I enjoyed that, but I kept microwaving it. So I felt maybe just opposite of the point. I like warm coffee. I like a nice room temperature.
The reason I'm asking is that what I would love for you to test at some point, if you get the chance, is one of those big Chemex things. Like, I think you would both appreciate the aesthetic beauty of that piece of equipment, the intentional requirements behind the actual process of brewing, and the fact that it's a filter. Because before we jumped on live, we were kind of talking about how French press is an immersion method, so it takes all the stuff in coffee and keeps it there. Whereas if you have like a paper filter, it will produce something similar but different. So I'd be curious if you ever get a chance, try that and tell me what you think.
Well, Wilson, I have poked around at that. You know me well. You do, I'm sure.
I was trying to see if you'd play with different brew methods.
I have not used one of those yet, but I have definitely looked at it. Also, I like the pour over technique. I just haven't gotten around to it, but I feel like that's in a similar world to French press of time, right? And that I feel like that would be my next step, because I do use a kettle to make to boil my water so that I can set the temperature.
Yes. Yeah.
Electric kettle, not stove kettle. So yes.
Very nice. Okay, well, I have just finished brewing my coffee. You know what? I do have one more question. And you're going to say no, and that's totally okay. But Sierra, will you show us your coffee dance?
I'm like, do I have a coffee dance? I have a dance that I do. I mean, this basically is me having lots of energy, coffee, and excitement about. So yes, that's my coffee dance.
That was perfect. That was a coffee dance. Absolutely. That was perfect. That was a coffee dance. Absolutely. Okay.
I also, when people give me coffee at a restaurant, I clap every time.
like a full on applause, or just like a full on applause?
Yes. No, like awesome. Like an applause, and I say I clap for coffee. Yeah.
That's such a quirky, weird thing that I wish I knew about you. That's amazing. I'm gonna steal that at least once and kind of see what the reaction is. Tell me which restaurant you frequent the most, so like they'll be like, are you related to Sierra Bailey? What is going on here?
Oh, that would be awesome. I do it to all the restaurants. Probably Galaxy down south is where it happens the most.
I haven't been to Galaxy in a while. Okay, good to know. Last question before I cheers you with coffee. Where do we go to find your Tiny Workshop stuff?
Oh yes, at Ms., which is MSSierraBailey.com, or if it's easier, doersshakersmakers.com.
Okay, awesome. We will leave links to both of those down below. And I think I'm doing all of this right. Sierra, thank you so much for joining me today.
What? Oh, you are so welcome. Cheers to good coffee.
All right, I will talk to you later. Stay caffeinated. Bye. Hey, if you are ready to start exploring the world of specialty coffee, go ahead and click on that link in the description. Is this how they do it? Below. Sign up for the Brew Better Than a Barista program. It'll walk you through the basic steps, the easiest, no-fuss method to get you started brewing world-class coffee on a budget. And it's totally free. Sign up. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, I'm always here. As always, stay caffeinated. I'm going to pour this all over the place, aren't I? Oh, I did it. No, I ruined that.